Catherine Booth was not the kind of woman history expected to change the world. She was quiet, she was gentle, she was sick often. She lived in a time when women were expected to sit silently in church and speak softly in society. But kindness, real kindness, is loud in ways people cannot ignore. And Catherine's kindness became a movement that touched the forgotten, the hurting, and the hopeless, a movement that still reaches millions today. Before she became known as the Mother of the Salvation Army, before she helped launch missions around the world, before she stood in packed halls preaching the love of Christ, she was simply a woman who paid attention to people others overlooked. And the story of how it began is a reminder that one act of kindness can shift the entire direction of a life. There was a winter evening when Catherine and her husband, William, were walking home after church. Snow covered the muddy streets. Families hurried to their warm homes. But Catherine noticed something most people ignored. A young man stood in the shadows near the church door, cold, alone, afraid to come inside because his clothes were too worn and dirty. Catherine walked right up to him. She looked at him with compassion instead of judgment, and she said the words that changed everything for him. "You belong inside with the rest of us." No one had ever spoken to him that way. Most people walked past him, but Catherine saw him, not his clothes, not his shame, not his poverty. She saw his worth. She brought him inside that night. She helped him find a seat. She made sure he was warm. And she told him that Christ came for him, not just for the polished and respectable. That single act of kindness sparked a fire in Catherine's heart. She began to realize that Christ did his greatest work not among the comfortable, but among the forgotten, among the broken, among the ones standing alone in the cold. So Catherine started going where others refused to go, into taverns, onto the streets, into dirty alleys, into homes where poverty had taken everything except the breath in their lungs. She believed no one was too lost, no one was too dirty, no one was too far gone for the love of God. And she did more than preach it. She lived it. She cooked meals for people who had none. She washed ragged clothes for mothers who were too exhausted to keep up. She sat with women society labeled ruined and told them they still had value. She looked into the eyes of drunk men sleeping on sidewalks and told them there was still hope. Catherine did something radical for her time. She opened her home, her heart, her life, to people others crossed the street to avoid. And from this simple beginning, the Salvation Army was born, not as an institution, not as a charity, not as a program, but as an overflow of kindness from a woman who believed the poor deserved dignity just as much as the rich. During one cold Christmas season, Catherine organized something unheard of. Instead of inviting wealthy families into her home, she invited the poorest families in the neighborhood. She cooked for them, served them, sat at the table with them, and treated them as honored guests. Children who had never received a gift received one that year. Parents who felt like failures were reminded they were still loved. Families who felt forgotten felt seen again. This is why Catherine's story is a Christmas story, because she lived out the heart of Christ, that the greatest gift is not wrapped in paper, but in compassion. Her legacy continues today in every Salvation Army center across the world. Millions of meals, shelters for the homeless, warm coats for children, Christmas gifts for families who have nothing, hope delivered straight into broken places, all because one woman decided kindness mattered. That compassion was stronger than judgment. That love was louder than shame. That Christ came for every single person, not just those who looked the part. Catherine once said, "If we are to better the future, we must disturb the present." Kindness disturbs things. It interrupts pain. It breaks cycles of shame. It reaches people others have ignored for too long. And maybe her story is whispering something to you today, that your kindness matters, that your compassion has power, that you never know what your one small act of love could set in motion. You may not feel like you can change the world, but you can change someone's world. And sometimes That is exactly how God begins a movement. Catherine's life proves that kindness is not weak, kindness is not passive, kindness is not small. Kindness is a force God uses to reach the hearts no one else sees. So as you walk through this season, look for the one standing in the cold. Look for the one who feels unworthy. Look for the one who needs someone to say, "You belong here too," because compassion still changes lives, and kindness is still one of the greatest ways God works through us. Thank you for watching this inspiring woman's story. If Catherine Booth's courage and kindness touched your heart, please like, comment, and share. Your engagement helps this message reach more women who need hope, encouragement, and the reminder that kindness still matters.